Alhamdulillah, sallallahu wasallam ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. All praise belongs to Allah, of whom we bear witness that no one ever deserves to be worshipped except Him. And we bear witness that Muhammad is His slave and messenger. May Allah's peace and blessings be upon him and upon his companions and upon his family. My brother in faith, I remind myself and yourselves in fearing Allah the Almighty. As Allah the Almighty said, O you who believe, fear Allah as should be feared, and die not but in the state of submission and surrender. The topic is about the prayer of Salah. The Prophet ﷺ, when he was talking about how to slaughter the animal, he said, Allah loves one of you if he does something to do it skillfully, as we say today, technically. That doesn't only stand at the limit of how to slaughter the animal, but the prayer that you perform to Allah should be the most primary kind of skillful conduct and action. When you perform the prayer, you should perform it skillfully in the best mode. Because the prayer is the title of the believer. And his feeling, his awareness in the prayer is the evidence of his iman and his success. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. Successful are the believers. Who are those? الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. Those who are in their prayer feel awareness and fear in their hearts when they pray to Allah. And if you have a problem, you can seek help by the prayer. The Prophet ﷺ, when he encounters any difficulty, he used to stand up and perform the prayer. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَاسْتَعِينُوا, seek help through sabr, patience, وَالصَّلَاةِ وَإِنَّهَا لَكَبِيرَةٌ. It is heavy, it is a big thing, إِلَّا عَلَى الْخَاشِعِينَ, except for those who fear Allah. Since we're talking about jihad, well, you should put in your agenda that the matter of struggling against your enemy, shaitan, in your prayer is the best jihad that you should be putting in mind always and always. Because we are told by the Prophet ﷺ that when the devil hears the adhan, he runs away. But when the salah is called for, iqamah, he comes back. And he steps on between the musalli and his prayer. To the extent that the one who performs the prayer, he doesn't know what did he say in his prayer. The Prophet ﷺ said, the worst kind of thieves is the one who steals his prayer. People said, oh Prophet, how can one steal his prayer? He said, ﷺ, he does not perform his ruku', its ruku' and its sujood perfectly. This is it. Once I was talking about the thief that comes to the mosque. One person interrupted me and said, yes, we have many thieves who steal our shoes. I said, I did not mean your shoes. There's a worse thief than the thief of the shoes. The thief of your prayer. This is what I meant. I did not mean the thief of the shoes. I meant the thief of your prayer. The Prophet ﷺ said, pray as you see me praying. But how he was praying? He used to be having a sound of a buzzing noise that usually comes out of the boiler. This is the way. This is what the Prophet's prayer used to be sounding whenever he prayed. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu used to be crying to the extent that he does not make people understand what he's saying, what he's reciting when he ever prayed. And despite that, the Prophet ﷺ, in his disease, he said, Muru Abu Bakr, command, order Abu Bakr to lead the people in the prayer. The Prophet ﷺ used to say, Inna fis salati la shughlan. The person is supposed to be busy in his prayer. But what's happening now? People are busy while they are praying. They're not busy in their praying. They're not attracted in their prayer. They are distracted from the prayer in their prayer. So that means, it's supposed to be meaning that the person should be busy in his prayer out from life. The prayer is a part of the hereafter. When you enter that prayer, you should be exiting this worldly life. When you enter the prayer, you are inside the hereafter. Is that how we pray? When the Muslims did not perform the prayer technically, skillfully, they lost leading the other nations, leading the world. So the prayer is not skillful, their life is not skillful anymore. There is a big difference between establishing the prayer and standing in the prayer. Look what Allah said about the hypocrites. وَلَا يَأْتُونَ الصَّلَاةَ إِلَّا وَهُمْ كُسَالَى. They do not come to the prayer, but while feeling lazy. And in other words, وَإِذَا قَامُوا إِلَى الصَّلَاةِ قَامُوا كُسَالَى. When they stand up in the prayer, they stand up while they're lit. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not say, وَإِذَا أَقَامُوا الصَّلَاةِ. It indicates to me that the prayer had not been established yet, even if they stand up for the prayer. This is the prayer of the hypocrites. So we should not be performing the prayers just like the prayer of the hypocrites. The Prophet ﷺ said, جُعِلَتْ قُرَّةُ عَيْنِي فِي الصَّلَاةِ. The utmost happiness and pleasure that have been put in my eye is the prayer. That means the utmost happiness. It occurs with the Prophet ﷺ the moment he performs the prayer. Among people, there are people who perform the prayer because it's obligatory. It's obligatory. What shall we do? So he wants to raise away this obligation from himself. So when he performs the prayer, he performs it while he feels heaviness in his chest. As if someone is backing him up from this prayer. Well, such person, we would mostly think that if it comes to the matter of the nafila prayer, he wouldn't be performing it. He doesn't feel like it. This person, he did not know what is the goal of prayer. Such person also, he has a flu. It's not a bird flu. It is not the flu we know. It is, if you have a flu and you eat, you don't feel any taste. And those who perform the prayer without khushoo, without awareness, without understand what they say in the prayer, I'm afraid they have a flu prayer. Do we have any tablets? What kind of vitamin we can have achieve in order to stop that kind of flu? Can a person comes to Allah, gives his direction to Allah while he's standing away from Allah? Yes. When the heart is taking the opposite direction of the body. When the heart is taking another direction of the body. Your body is taking the direction to the Qibla, but the heart is taking another direction, other Qibla, than the Qibla of the prayer. That's what's happening. So when we want to make sure when we come to the prayer, we have to achieve the goal of the prayer. To make those actions, those are the means of the prayer. To take the steps to the mosque, those are the means of the prayer. But to achieve the happiness of the heart and raise the iman in your heart, these are the goals of your prayer that you have to achieve.